let's now bring in Cosatu spokesperson Sizwe Pamla. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, Sizwe. Really appreciate it. Obviously, you've heard the news. Is this good or bad for Eskom in Cosatu's assessment?
Well, let's just say it's not surprising. I mean, we've been witnessing an economic meltdown. André Ruyter really has been given an opportunity to prove himself. We do appreciate some of the efforts that his leadership has attempted, at least in fighting corruption. But when it comes to load shedding, his leadership really has fallen short. But the reality is there have been a lot of calls for him to step down. We were not amongst those organizations because we have long appreciated that Eskom's problems are not really sitting with the executive. When we make these calls, it's really for therapeutic reasons so that we can feel good. The reality is we've been recycling these CEOs for a long time. This is about political leadership. Minister Gwede Mandashe and Minister Pravin Gordhan needs to really give us a sense of what is it that they are doing to take this country out of this crisis. That is really now about the cabinet, the executive. We are going to appoint another CEO. That CEO is going to come out, are going to congratulate, wish them well. They come in, they make all sorts of plans, and then 18 months down the line, that CEO is going to step down. We have a board that is hardly 3 months old currently. So let's give this board a chance, like we have said. But this board is not going to hang around for too long if it does not get political support. Whoever is going to be appointed, we hope that they do not appoint the chairperson for too long if they do, because we don't want this issue of a chairperson of the board also sitting in as a CEO. That is an unsustainable way of running anything. But as far as we are concerned, it was long coming, the issue of André Ruyter, but we don't really think it's going to make any difference because there is just a lack of political leadership on this question.
Yeah, and it was quite startling what we saw last week with the comments coming from Gwede Mantashe saying that load shedding is worse than state capture, among the comments that we've already discussed. And also the sort of decrees coming from the Public Enterprises Department saying you must immediately stop stage 6, as if it were that easy. We've also seen, of course, Pravin Gordhan, the minister, saying to the board, I want you up to 75% energy, EAF as it's called, energy availability from the grid within a few months. We've just heard that it's actually down to 51%, which is astonishing. It's just over working at half its capacity. What do you think needs to happen now? And I ask that given that we're looking at fairly shaky ground potentially in the top leadership of Eskom. We know that André Ruyter is out, whether it's immediate or in the next 3 months. We know that the COO is going to be retiring in the next 3 months. We are hearing, not confirmed, possibly the CFO. Khaleb Kasim may be leaving. We also know that Rulani Matibula, head of generation, acting head of generation, he just resigned last month. How concerned are you as Cosatu that there is shaky leadership at the top now?
Well, that is not helpful when you consider the fact that just a couple of days ago, we were actually sounding positive when we saw the resilience of our economic sectors. We saw third quarter numbers sitting at 1.6%. We barely avoided a technical recession. And we also saw that in the third quarter, we absorbed 200,000 jobs. So we were starting to sound positive and look at this and saying maybe our economy is resilient enough if we can only solve the issue of load shedding. Now this is getting worse. By the way, this is the third year that in the fourth quarter we are sitting with stage 6 load shedding. So this is really becoming a big problem. But like we have said, we will find experienced individuals to fill in this position. The question is, do our policy ministers know what they are doing? That is the conversation we need to have now. Is this executive, this administration, do they have a plan to solve this mess? Because how many times have we called for a CEO to step down? How many times have we called for a new board to be appointed and for an old board dismissed? The question now is, Do our politicians know what they are doing? That is the conversation that we need. This is a political crisis. It's no longer even an energy crisis. It's a political crisis. If you listen to the political principals last week, it was very disappointing. It was almost embarrassing to hear them talking as if they are observers, as if they're not responsible, and that they've not been around. They've only just arrived, and now they are giving their views. Many of these people have been hanging around the corridors of power for years, and they've so far offered nothing except platitudes and populist statements. The reality is this crisis has become a political problem. We are going to get a new CEO, and we hope this happens soon. But we need to have a conversation. Does this cabinet know what to do to fix this problem? Because it's no longer an energy crisis, now it's a political crisis.
So a CEO problem is not really. It's more of a political problem. Do you think the politicians have made the CEO the fall guy, one? And two, you say you're concerned that the politicians involved in energy don't know what they're doing. What should they be doing? Are we talking about a policy level problem? We've long spoken about Gwede Mantashe seen as Mr. Coal, that sort of thing. Where exactly does the problem in the political circles lie, in your view?
Well, as soon as you hear politicians start to insult CEOs, you know you have a problem. That's not what we want. We don't want to hear our ministers telling us that someone is sabotaging the country when they are actually responsible for decision-making. These are the people who take decisions. We all go to bed hoping that someone is out there is busy trying to keep the lights on. To wake up and read a headline that says the minister is saying that this is sabotage. What are you doing about it? So as soon as we started to hear people scapegoating the executive and making all manner of accusations, that is when we started to be troubled. To say now this is deteriorating into becoming a political problem. Because all you want to hear from your political principals is that they have a plan on how to fix the problem. Of course, the issue of coal, we have long argued that for us to just abandon coal recklessly will be a mistake. While we are for energy transition, we appreciate that a country like ours, the most unequal country in the world, half the adult population sitting at home unemployed, 70% of young people watching their dreams pass them by. We need to do something about this crisis. The reason why we're saying that it is becoming a political crisis is that we're not hearing any solution, any coherent, solid proposal or solution on how Eskom should be fixing this mess. I mean, we don't want to hear from people making public proclamations to say, stop state six load shedding. The question is, where were you when the country was going to state six load shedding? And we don't want to hear about who's sabotaging what. We are glad that André Ruyter stepped down. All of those who said that he needed to leave because he was the problem, now let them bring in the people who are going to solve this mess. Because all we want is a solution.
Thank you so much for speaking to us this evening, Sizwe Pamla of Cosatu, saying this is not so much a CEO problem as a political problem.